Ever been a coward? I have. For years, I avoided starting my own business. Why? Because I was terrified of failure. Peel the onion a little bit, and beneath that fear was pride. I dreaded the shame of not succeeding. Pretty dumb, right? Not really. Kind of human, actually. So what finally gave me the courage to take the leap? Well, it wasn't exactly courage. It was more like desperation. See, I was stuck in a job that I hated. And I think Bob Dylan says it best in his song Tangled Up in Blue. I had a job in the Great North Woods, working as a cook for a spell, but I never did like it all that much, and one day, the axe just fell. Yep, I got fired. The first and last time in my life, and to be honest, I deserved it. I got fired on a Friday, and on a Monday morning, with a wife and 4 kids to feed and not much money in the bank, I started my own business. That was in 2013. But starting is just the beginning. Building and sustaining a business, that's a real challenge. And over the years, I've learned 7 essential truths about what it takes to build a business. And I think those truths transcend business types. So, obviously I'm a consultant. I have an executive coaching practice. You are in a construction business. But the 7 essential elements that I'm going to share with you today are fundamental to what it takes to build a business. I think you're going to enjoy this short solo episode. So if you're interested in learning what those are, stick around for the next few minutes and let's dive right in.
This is Eric Anderton, and you're listening to Construction Genius, a leadership masterclass. Thomas Edison said that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. If you're a construction leader, you know all about the perspiration, and this show is all about the 1% inspiration that you can add to your hard work to help you to improve your leadership.
So you want to start your own business. What does it take? You have to first begin with a why. And I know that's kind of a cliche, you got to start with why, but there has to be a deep motivation for that goal of starting your business. And motivation can vary. When I started my business, I did it for 2 reasons. Number 1, freedom. And the second one was fun. I wanted complete autonomy. I wanted to work for myself, not for anyone else. And I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. Along with that, I had to feed the wife and kids. That was a strong motivating factor. Freedom, fun, and the need to provide. So if you're going to start a business, there has to be a strong motivating factor. And why is that strong motivating factor vital? Because if you're going to build a business, you have to have a tremendous capacity for enduring pain, for enduring difficulties and setbacks. And without that strong why, without that motivating factor, without either the carrot or the stick, it's going to be very difficult for you to endure that pain. Not only do you have to be able to endure pain, but then you also have to be able to influence other people. You have to influence people to buy what you're selling. You have to influence people to come and work for you. You have to be able to influence them to work with you. So if you're going to build a business, there has to be something in you that is able to rally people to you and for you. That includes understanding what people want, understanding the psychology of human beings, either in a conscious way or a subconscious way. It requires you to be authentic. People buy from real people. And so you must understand yourself to an extent, and you must be genuine in the way that you present yourself, because people flee from fakes. Then you have to have the ability to seize the moment. You have to seize the moment when you have an opportunity to grow your business, to expand your business. And you have to have the courage to be able to seize those moments. What else do you need? You have to have humility. Humility to understand that you can't do it all yourself. Humility to understand your circle of competency. In other words, to know the things that you do best, that unlike other people, get you paid. The things where you make a real difference. But not only that kind of humility, you also have to have a curiosity about you and a willingness to learn things that perhaps you're not very good at. And there's a balance there, isn't there? Because you want to focus on things that you're really good at and delegate the rest on the one hand. But on the other hand, you have a capacity to learn and a capacity to grow, and that helps to increase your circles of competency. Imagine making the shift from building projects to truly leading people. You've taken projects from start to finish, and now it's time to build a team of people who can do the same. In construction, authentic leadership goes beyond managing tasks. It's about inspiring and guiding the teams that you lead. The shift, move from project management to people leader, is my no BS hands-on course that I designed specifically for construction professionals ready to make the transition from just being a project manager to being a true leader. The shift is all about mastering the skills that matter: direct and clear communication, handling tough conversations with confidence, guiding your team towards quick, practical solutions to the toughest project challenges they face, and setting the standard for high performance. And I know that you're super busy, and that's why I'll also give you the tools to manage your time and energy efficiently so you can lead without getting overwhelmed. My course combines a self-paced masterclass with highly practical materials to help you make the shift from managing projects to leading people. Click the link in the show notes to learn more about the shift, including a detailed description, free bonuses, and testimonials from construction leaders like you who have already made the shift. You must have a big ego or a tremendous amount of self-belief. And where does that ego or self-belief come from? For some people, it's just innate, and I don't know where that comes from. It's just part of who they are. I'll give you an example. I am very rarely nervous when I'm speaking in front of other people in a public speaking setting. I don't know why that is, but I've never been nervous. Whereas most people in the population are nervous, and I've been able to leverage that in building my business and in building my career in a way that perhaps other people can't. But you also have to marry that ego, or perhaps grow that ego or that confidence because of your competency. The more competent you are, the more confident you are. The more confident you are and competent, the more you're able to solve problems and add value for people. And in doing so, by the way, that makes you extremely attractive to other people who will want to work for you and with you and buy what you're selling. So that competency really adds to your ability to be self-confident or to have a healthy ego that is expressed in a beneficial way for yourself and other people. You must have a system of support as well. Again, when I started my business, I had the unequivocal 100% support of my wife, which was vital. When I started my business, I didn't have any money, but I did have the support of my wife and her confidence in me. And that was indispensable as I was going through the deep pain of building my business. And so you too, if you're going to build a business, need a support system, people that you can lean on, people that you can talk to about the difficulties and the challenges. Even if they can't necessarily understand everything, at least they'll be able to listen to you. And then finally, you need some luck. I remember a guy I used to work for back in the day. He built a business very successfully when he was a young man. late 20s, early 30s, relatively young. And he would always talk about how lucky he was. And I looked at him and I didn't think he was lucky. I thought he was talented. But he perceived himself as lucky. And I think that's a healthy thing when you're building a business, to understand that luck plays a huge role in it, you could say, where you meet people unexpectedly or in ways that you wouldn't have imagined. And those connections helped you to build the business. But I also think that the harder you work, the luckier you get, right? That's the cliche. So you want to build a business. Let me just review what you've got to be able to do. You have to have that deep why. You have to have the ability to influence people. You have to have humility. You have to be able to endure a tremendous amount of pain. You must have a big ego and a tremendous amount of self-belief that's rooted in something intangible, but also in deep competency. You must have a system of support. And then you need luck. So think about it. You have what it takes to start a business. You may never know unless you try. Hey, this is Eric. I hope you enjoyed today's short episode. You'll remember that I mentioned a shift in the middle of the episode, my new online course. And you should go check out all the details by clicking the link in the show notes. And let's just review those 7 essential truths about what it takes to build a business. Number 1 is a deep why, then the ability to influence others, humility, a tremendous capacity to endure pain, a big ego, a system of support, and a good sprinkling of luck. Hope you found these helpful. You may be able to apply them not only to building a business, but also to being an effective leader, perhaps building a killer career in construction. And I really appreciate you listening to today's episode. Feel free to share it with other people. Give the show a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. And I'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Construction Genius. Hope you found that 1% of inspiration to help you in the next few days. If you like the show, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes, share it with other construction leaders who you think would benefit, and always remember that the show is brought to you by Kick-Ass Meetings. I've been working with construction leaders since 2004, teaching them how to run extremely effective problem-solving meetings that gets their people collaborating, taps into their creativity, and to get yourself a free copy of the Kick-Ass Meeting Report, go to www.ericanderton.com/kickassmeetings. Grab yourself that free report, read it, use it in your business. You'll find it extremely useful. And thanks again for listening.